password. Ha. There we go. Did you all get a chance to check your, do your assignments? Did you all get a chance to do that with the insurance contracts? I believe Ms. Deacon Thomas told you all to pull them. Did anybody pull their contracts? Take a look at what they're paying for. Okay, what's Miss Nikki, what you find out?
That I'm overpaying for insurance just for maybe convenience or what was convenient several years ago. No longer the need, or so I'm paying for something that I no longer need. So
Gotcha. Awesome. Awesome. That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. So now let's talk about how that all comes together, right? So Miss Nikki, allowing us to use her as an example, says, okay, I'm overpaying for something that I no longer need. Well, guess what? If she's spending $50, $60, whatever it is a month on that item now gets cut, and she just created $50 or $60 worth of cash flow in her pocket. Now, if you're with me, just say cash flow, cash flow. Anybody know what cash flow is? Yes. Tell me what cash flow.
Left over after you pay your bills.
There you go, Miss Deidre. That's you know what, Miss Deidre, I got you. That's I'm giving away money tonight. You hear me? Miss Deidre, you got you a gift card. Thank you so much, Miss Deidre. I got your name, full name. All right, somebody help me out. Let me get Miss Deidre's name down. So Miss Deidre, you're absolutely right. Cash flow is the amount of money you have left over after your expenses. So Miss Nikki just created more cash flow for her household to either find more money to let's say she may need more to use on her debt, or she may need more money to invest, right? That could be that money, or she may just need more to go into her emergency fund or contingency fund, so she could use that money for that. That's the cash flow. So that's awesome. Anyone else found out anything when they did their assignments last week? Did you pull your insurance contracts? Did you shop for auto insurance? What did you do? Did you pull your Social Security at ssa.gov? Did anybody pull their Social Security? Deacon Thomas gave y'all a lot of stuff to do last week. Did you do it?
And my home insurance, I'm saving $400 a year. Awesome. And then my car insurance, I think it was like $150 that I was saving. And they had, after I checked with State Farm and Nationwide, and AAA really was offering the same exact thing when it comes to deductible, the coverage for the home, then they had the best price. So good. I changed, and then I learned what to do with the escrow check. When they send you that refund back, that is not your money to spend. You have to give that back to the bank so they can offset your escrow when it comes time for that. So yeah, that's what I did.
Perfect, Miss Renata. Now I want you to notice. So you said you're saving about $550 a year. I believe that's what you said, about 400
yes.
and 150. Yeah, about $550 a year. That's roughly about $46 a month that you're cash flowing. And that may not seem like a lot of money, but let me tell you how $46 can change your life, honey. That's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that adds cash flow. Somebody say cash flow. I love it. I love
cash
it. Okay.
Flow.
There you go. See, now you're with me. Okay. Now, all right. Y'all woke now. Okay. Because when I get to speaking in a minute, we're going to have to talk. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say, you asked about the Social Security, and I really don't want it recorded, but anyway, it's okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. So from that perspective, right, we want to make sure that we're making decisions. Okay, this is what's important. We're making decisions that are educated decisions. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're getting ready to leave your company, do you know if on your retirement plan, and we told you all to look up and look at your projections on, do you know if you're vested or not? Well, what does vested mean? Vested means some companies have a 3-year, a 5-year, depends on the number, depends on the company. Let's say you're vested in 3 years, and that means that you can take your money that you put into the 401k and the company's money that they put into the 401k to match you. You could take all that money when you leave. That means you're vested. Well, let's give you an example. Let's say that Miss Nikki is on her job, and the job says you need 3 years with us before you're vested to be able to take all of your retirement. And Miss Nikki said, well, listen, Candace, I'm having a hard time, honey. I got about 6 more months before I'm vested, but I'm really ready to shake the spot, right? I'm ready to go. And I said, well, Miss Nikki, you put $50,000 in their retirement account, and that company put $50,000 in their retirement account. Is it worth you leaving early 6 months for you to lose that $50,000? Oh, Miss Nikki looked at me. She said, Candace, it ain't worth it. I said, listen, we got to pray a little bit harder, okay? Because we got to stay so we can be vested and get that money from the company and our money. Then we can shake the spot, okay? I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Just nod your head for make sure we got it. Everybody got it? Yes. Okay. All right. Perfect. So tonight, I know we went over a lot, right? We went over a lot last week. You all covered a whole lot. This week, we're going to make sure that we're covering a different set of topics because we're going to take it all the way through. We got to make sure you have a full, what I call a full financial foundation. I just hit that thing. Okay. Let's do from the beginning. All right. Screen check. We got a screen. We good? Everybody can see?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So with this information, we're going to share tonight some information that's going to cover your insurances, right? We told you to pull your insurance because we want to make sure you have the proper stuff. And then we want to give you some education on what you should be looking at, right? And then secondary, we're going to talk about the intro to investing. One of the things that everybody wants to talk about is investing. Well, everything I'm going to talk to you about tonight is your intro to preparing yourself for the investments that you're preparing to do, right? So tonight's conversation, we cannot move forward in our conversations about investing and stuff like that if we don't actually talk about tonight. So let's get into it. Here we go. Now, you know me, every time I get on, I'm gonna give you different thoughts and concepts and stuff like that. So my thought process or concept for tonight is based around investments and all kinds of stuff, but an investment is not always money, but it's always a commitment. Ooh-wee, that's your thought of the night. I'm gonna give it to you again in a different way. An investment is not always money. Well, let's think about it. Tonight is an investment of your time into your life, right? It's not an investment of money necessarily. It's an investment of your time, and it's a commitment to come to class 6 or 7 weeks to make sure that you can learn about your money, right? Would everybody agree that it's a commitment? Yes, put yes in the chat if you agree that this is a commitment, right? Just put it in the chat. Yes. Okay, perfect. It's a commitment to be here. And in the reality, the best investment you can actually make is the one you make in yourself. Well, why do I say that? Because, you can pour all of the money in a pot, right? And it can go away. You got all the money, the money can go away. But when you invest in yourself, and you invest in your mind, and we teach you this information and we share this with you, guess what? Can't nobody take that away from you. Ooh, it's real good. So the investment in yourself and the development of yourself is greater than any other investment that you can make. Oh yeah, it's real good. Okay. I done got warmed up. So this is what I like to call affirmations, right? The affirmation of investing in yourself tonight is that I must invest in myself at the level at which I expect results. Now we got to get to it now. Now listen, if I hit you, I didn't mean to miss you. Let's talk about it. If you invest a little bit into the class, you're going to get a little bit out of the class, right? The class is 6 weeks and I went 2. Well, that's fine. It's your money, but I must invest in myself, and myself, at the level at which I expect results, period. And that works for anything. How many things? Anything. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I ain't gonna be on you tonight, but just know that if I hit you, I wasn't trying to miss you. All right, let's keep going. So with many times when we, y'all know I love this stuff, right? I get excited, I get to laughing because I enjoy this. I enjoy this. All right, let's talk about it. I need a degree in physics to understand what they are trying to say. So this is normally how people feel when they start talking about investing. When we start talking about really finances in general, right? We start feeling like we're not understanding the language. So in this class, we've actually done a really good job of making sure that we speak in a level that people can understand, right? So we hope we've gotten to that point. also, when it comes to investing, people are like, you know what? I don't have enough money. This is what my wallet look like. Nothing. I don't have enough money to be doing that. I need to be working on something else, right? Well, I get that. And there's a time and a place for everything. But mentally, we have to get ourselves in a mindset mentally so that although our bank account is not where we want it to be, but it's not where we're going to stay. All right. We don't have to stay there. Although my bank account does not look as great as I look right now, right? It's all right. We're going to move past that. But we got to get that thought process. And then sometimes we just start asking the wrong people for the wrong set of advice. Let me explain what I mean.
Right.
You see, when people are sick, they go to a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
When their teeth hurt, they go to an orthodontist, go to the dentist. But when they need to know about wealth or money, why is it that they go to their neighbor who don't know nothing about money? Can anybody tell me that? I just do not know. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Got some answers, anybody? Maybe it's because they feel more comfortable. Right, that is a thing. Maybe they feel more comfortable with going to their neighbor. But what we want you to do is we want you to build relationships with people who are desiring to help you and to really be able to help you grow and not really ask anything of you, but to get it together. That's what we want to do. So ask people who are qualified, but your neighbor may know some stuff, right? But man, I have people come to my office all the time. Well, my friend told me, and I'm like, well, who was your friend? And why didn't you call me, right? You have to get to that point, but it's okay. I'm only saying these things because remember, if I hit you, I wasn't trying to miss you. You remember that, right? But I'm only saying these things to trigger the consciousness of what's been happening over many, many of our lives, and what's happening. All right. So let's get into the content. Here we go. You like, yes, I thought you was already in it. I'm not really. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute, make sure you was warmed up. All right, can anyone tell me on the call, can anyone tell me what is your greatest asset? I'm listening, put it in the chat. What is your greatest asset? I'm ready, let's go. Okay, myself. Miss Juanita said myself. Okay, who else?
My home.
My home? Ooh, that's good, Mr. Charles. Okay. My health, my time. Okay, yourself, time. Okay. Ooh, we're getting the answers in now. That's good. Okay. My health, my time, my mind. All right. I like it. Okay. All right, let's see what the answer is. Maybe I'll tell you. Well, I believe that somebody got it. It's you, right? You are your greatest asset, but let's be more specific about that, okay? When I say you are your greatest asset, it's more than just you. It's you, and your ability to produce income is your greatest asset. You see, if you got all the money and no time, doesn't really work, right? It's like, oh, what am I doing? But your ability in your working years, right? Your ability to go out and produce income is considered your greatest asset. We know that the car sounded good, the house sounded good, those things sound good. But in reality, the money that you make and your ability to create that money, regardless of how it's being created, is your greatest asset, because that allows for you to do more and more. Now, before I get too deep, let me keep going, because I got another question. Now, somebody gonna know the question I'm gonna ask, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. If you had a goose that laid golden eggs, would you insure the goose or the eggs? I'm ready. What would you insure? The goose or the eggs? Somebody said the goose. Somebody said both. I got eggs. Okay, the goose, the foose. I got the foose too. All right. That was a typo. I know I'm messing with you. The egg. Okay. You laughing at me? All right. So here we go. The question, let's make sure we got it. The question is, if you had a goose that produced or laid golden eggs, would you insure the goose or the eggs? Now, some of you said the goose. A few of you said the eggs, but many people said the goose. Well, Miss Lisa has it. You would insure the goose because the goose is the producer of wealth. Now, let me ask you a question. If the goose is the producer of wealth, who's the goose in your life? Now, some people might say, well, my husband, he the goose because he out there making all the money. I understand, right? Dr. Stacy says, I'm the goose. I'm with you. I am the goose who produces or lays the golden eggs. So let's be clear. The goose is me, and the eggs are my house, my car, my assets, the things that I'm producing. But, I'm getting a little something there. Somebody help me out. There we go. All right. So I lost my thought. Let's do it again. I am the goose, right? In my house, my cars, the things that I have are my eggs. Without me as the goose, can I still have all of those things and producing all of those eggs? That's the key. If I have coverage on my house, ooh, I'm gonna get you. If I got coverage on my house and my cars and all my stuff, but am I protected? Do I have the proper protection to make sure that the goose is taken care of? That's the real question, right? So tonight I want to make sure that we're clear on what our goal is, what we're doing, and let's talk about the breakdown of you being the goose. Ready? Ready. Okay. All right. What is your economic value? These are the kind of questions we have to ask you. And I know y'all like, what is that, right? What's the economic value? Candace, you're using words that we don't understand. See, now I'm feeling like you're speaking another language. I understand. I'm gonna break it down for you. No worries. I got you. Your economic value is your money potential. So if you're on a fixed income, my grandmother says that to me all the time. Candace, I'm on a fixed income. Okay, fine. We gotta teach you how to make some more income, grandma, but you're on a fixed income. That means your money potential is X amount of dollars for that year. So let's look at it. Let's do the math. And I'm not asking you to put this in the chat. Okay. I just want you to do the math on your own. Your money potential is your yearly income times the number of years you have left to work. Now, if you're retired, that's okay. You're not working anymore. That's okay. You'll still have a yearly income. And then you put that yearly income and you don't have to do a projection on this part necessarily, because it's like, oh, yearly income based on when we plan to, pass. And that's not really a thing. We don't know because God got it set up. We don't know that thing. So we're looking at more of your earning potential when you're working. Okay. Because I know that question is going to come up. So your money potential or your economic value is the yearly income times the number of years you have left to work. So let's do an example. If you make $40,000 and you've got 30 years to work, your economic value is $1.2 million if you never get a raise. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Uh-oh. Somebody want to talk to me, but I don't think we're talking right now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So what we're doing is we're figuring out our economic value. Does everybody know their economic value if they never got a raise again, right? Anybody know? Don't tell me what it is, but just put yes in the chat if you got it. No, you're not sure. No, you don't have it. Tell me if you have your economic value. You should be working with me, right? You got your numbers? Yes. Good. Are you surprised? Ooh, are you surprised? That's a different answer. If you're surprised, put yes, yes in the chat so I can know the difference between your first yes and your second yes. Or no, you're not surprised. You know you got it, right? Yes, yes, you're surprised. Okay. Crazy, right? If we think about it, many of you will make millions of dollars in your lifetime. Did you know that? Oh my goodness. When you start looking at these numbers, you're like, oh my God, I really make money. Where is it all going? Trust me, I get it. I get it. So the concept, I'm wanting you this, remember, I'm all about the consciousness, right? Not surprised, David. I understand. You know, you got it. I get it. So our concept tonight is to make sure that if you know your economic value, if you understand, like you all just said, that you are the goose in your life and you are laying the golden eggs, right? Then you will know that that goose should be protected. And from that protection, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of different ways of protecting yourself to ensure that you have the proper protection. That's really important. So first level of protection, what we call is income protection. Some people consider this as short-term or long-term disability. This is what we look at. So short-term disability covers you for 3 months or less than 3 months. Long-term disability covers you for 3 months or more. All right. So your income protection says, and I'm gonna give you an example of this in just a moment, but your income protection says, hey, I know I'm the goose that lays golden eggs. I know that if I, God forbid, right? God forbid, I'm out, I'm driving, I'm headed home from work, and God forbid a kid texting, driving on the phone runs me over. Lord, I'm out for the next 6 months because, of course, I don't recover like I used to. I'm out for 6 months because of a kid texting and driving. Where does my income come from? Those are the kind of questions you have to ask yourself when you start asking, if I'm the goose and I laid the golden eggs, am I protected? If I can't work the next 6 months, where does the money come from? Now notice, if I can't work, somebody has to take care of me and help me out. So if my spouse is also off with me, I won't get too far into my presentation, but something has to happen, right? The money has to come from somewhere. I'm hoping that I'm triggering something for you to be able to realize, where does that money come from? Okay, I have a little time off work, got some PTO, got some FMLA, but we're talking 6 months. Do we have the proper coverage in place to cover us, to make sure that our expenses and our lifestyle is taken care of? Because as the goose, I didn't die, right? Many times we think about insurances as life insurance. I didn't die, thank God, but I am down. And something like that those kind of experiences can cause for very large amounts of sums of your money and the assets you've made and that you built for yourself to be depleted, right? So short-term disability covers you for less than 6 months, and then long-term disability normally covers you for 3 months to a year, 5 years, 3 years, whatever it is, whatever kind of term you have. For my business owners, you should be covered for at least 5 years or more. And I like up to 65 years old personally. So different things like that, just making sure that you have the proper coverage so that if something happens that is unfortunate, you did not die, let's make sure we're taken care of. Does this make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm going to keep moving because somebody going to ask me a question and say, well, Candace, I'm waiting on you to tell me this makes sense in the chat, by the way, or not. Yes, all right, Miss Ann. I could deal with your yes, and then that means somebody got something out of it. We're good. All right, thank you, Miss Kathy. All right, good deal. So from this perspective, right, you're like, okay, Candace, because many times when we look at different policies, your short-term disability costs a little bit, right? So we're like, okay, well, what happens to the emergency fund or contingency fund? Let's talk a little bit about that, right? Let's go a little deeper. Here we go. So first step, make sure you cover your goose. You're the goose, make sure it's covered with the proper protection. At minimum, you need that long-term disability, at minimum. Let's keep going. Your emergency fund, or I like to call it contingency fund, because in reality, an emergency is not an emergency if you can write the check. I think I'm deep into my presentation, but I'm gonna keep going. So your emergency fund, let's talk about it. Y'all ready? Because you should have pen and paper, put some spit on your paper. Here we go. You ready? Yes, honey. Your emergency fund or contingency fund, I like to call it contingency fund, is $1,000 to $3,000. You're going to hear me say this, and you're going to hear me say it several times. $1,000 to $3,000. In reality, here we go. In reality, you should not have more than $3,000 in a savings account. And if you do, you lose. Ooh-wee. I'm going to say it one more time. You should not have more than $3,000 in a savings account. And if you do, you lose. But that's why you're in class. So we're no longer going to lose. We're going to make sure we start winning. Everybody ready to win? Absolutely. So with this in mind, okay, Your mini emergency fund should be $1,000 to $3,000 in that savings account. Then we should upgrade and continue, of course, building this. And now I want you not for one moment to think that this all happens at one time. Okay. This is a process. But your major emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Okay. So if we're looking at 3 to 6 months of your expenses, you're going to ensure that you have this money not in your savings account. Yes. And that's what Deacon Thomas is going to be talking about in our next class. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because I know your next question is, well, Candace, where should that money go? Table it. We're going to talk about it later. I just got to tell you that you're supposed to have it and that this is what we're doing. And then we'll tell you where to put it later. Aha. I know I just answered your question. I got you. All right. So with that in mind, let's give an example. Oh, that's really good, Donnie. We're going to repeat that in a moment. Okay. Actually, let me do that now, because I don't want to interrupt my next flow, because I'm going to actually get away from that. So Miss Donnie said, short and long-term disability, get it. She said, I did. It is paying off for me now that I am temporarily disabled. That is a blessing, Donnie. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a blessing. Man, that's really good. The reason I say that is because sometimes we get on here and we talk, and many of you have so many testimonies that you don't share, and you've gone through this stuff, right? And I know you have. So thank you so much for sharing that, Donnie. That is wonderful to know. Good. Okay, let's keep going. Ooh, Donnie, yes. Donnie, can I buy you lunch? Yes, I'm gonna buy you lunch, Donnie. Donnie, can we put Donnie's name down for a gift card for that testimonial? Thank you, Donnie. I told you we're giving away money tonight. We're going to go ahead and give away some more money. Same here. Miss Ann said the same thing. Thank you, Miss Ann, for sharing. It helped her too. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Donnie, make sure you send your name to me in the chat so I can get your last name. Okay. All right. Here we go. Mini emergency fund. Let's make sure I'm on track. Is $1,000 to $3,000. How much money should you keep into your savings account? What is the max amount of money you should keep in your savings account? Anybody know? Got it. Thank you, Donnie. How much money should you keep in your savings account? What's the max? Okay. There we go. 3,000. Boom. We got it. Oh, Miss Lisa, now where you been, girl? Somebody called your phone and you missed it. You missed it, Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, where you been, girl? Somebody called your phone and beeped in and you just missed it. I said 3,000, huh? Three. I got you. Not 5, 3. The max is 3. I'm giving you a hard time, Miss Lisa. It's all right. So 1,000 to 3,000 in your savings. Okay. 3,000 is the max. Then from there, we're going to put it into a different account, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that soon. All right. No worries, Miss Lisa. You know, I had to give you a hard time. All right. So 3 to 6 months of emergency is your major emergency fund. Let's give an example. If your monthly expenses, now I'm not talking about the cable and you eating out. We're talking about just your bare bones to make sure your living is wonderful. Now I know some people say that means living is wonderful. I get it, but some things we can cut whenever things need to be cut, right? You are the CFO, meaning Chief Financial Officer of your life. So sometimes you got to cut stuff. So if your bare bones expenses are $2,000 a month, then that means that we're recommending $1,000 in your mini emergency fund and $6,000 in your major emergency fund. Of course, the $3,000 is the max we would put into that savings account to make sure you're covered. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Let's keep going. We're gonna roll. I told you I was deep into my presentation, but you should put this in your notes because it's a real thing. It's not an emergency if you can write the check. Do you know that? Oh, I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it one more time. I need to elaborate, because sometimes we get stuff and people don't understand. Let me tell you, it's not an emergency if you can write the check. It's just a mere inconvenience. It's inconvenience for the tire to blow out, but I can write the check, so it's okay. It's inconvenient for the food to go bad because the refrigerator went out. And when the refrigerator went out, now my food went bad. I got to buy new food. Guess what? I can write the check. I didn't want to write the check, but I can. It's a mere inconvenience. It's not an emergency if you can write the check. We have to remember that. And that's the kind of mindset that we're in when we start working through our finances and seeing that we have the contingency fund. We have the minimum amounts in our savings accounts to where it feels good. Do y'all agree? When you can write the check and you're not worried. Who is that? Marcus actually mentions, he says, there's a weight on you when your finances are out of control. There's a weight. We want to get that weight off of us. All right. Yes. I just got a message that if you can write the check, it won't be so bothersome, but you can cover it and you don't have to go and borrow it from somebody. Don't nobody want to ask the bank, don't want to ask a friend or a family member to help me with something, right? We have to think about that. And that's a good feeling to take that weight off. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. Y'all ready for the next one? I'm ready. Ooh, I'm getting through this. It's been good time. Okay, here we go. It's your turn. You ready? You know, I like when I be speaking, I like y'all to do some stuff with me. All right, you should have pen and paper, and I need you to rate these illnesses. We got stroke, we got renal failure, we got cancer, we got heart attack. Rate these illnesses from the most common to the least common, 1 through 4. Now, Jamil, you with me? All right. Yes, you with me. Okay.
We talking generationally or just culturally?
No, just in general. Number 1, most common is this. Number 2,
okay.
Like that. Okay. All right. So rate them 1 through 4 for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need all of them in order.
Ooh.
I'm waiting. All right, we got 1. Somebody said, so I want you all to do me a favor. They said the most common. Okay, do me a favor. Do number 1, 2, 3, 4. Put them in order from the most common to the least common.
I'm just gonna say cancer being number 1.
Okay, cancer's number 1. That's what you say.
Yes.
All right, Miss Nikki got her answer. Can anybody give me 1 through 4? Okay, so Olivia says cancer. Let's see.
Stroke.
Cancer, heart attack, stroke, renal failure. All right.
Okay, Denisha say heart attack, stroke, review, and cancer. Cancer, the last one.
Okay. Then Catherine says stroke, heart attack, cancer, and renal failure. Okay. Boy, stroke. Anise says stroke, heart attack, cancer, renal failure. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, renal failure. Dr. Stacy said it right before Christopher and Denise. Dr. Stacy.
What?
I need your name, your full name, if you don't mind. Want a gift card? I'm gonna buy you lunch, honey. Yes. Because you know, with inflation, that's not all you can get with $25. It's a lunch.
Yay,
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you send me your full name in the chat, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. All right, Dr. Stacy got it. I'm sorry, say it again.
What was the response? What was the correct answer?
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem, honey.
Okay.
Number 1, heart attack. Number 2, stroke. Number 3, cancer. And number 4 is renal failure. Boy, many people think like Jamil used to think when she had 5 cancer policies that cancer was number 1. It's just the number. Jamil, don't get me. I know I love you, honey.
Hey, it's facts. It's facts.
So what it is, most people see the advertisement. Yeah, you did miss your lunch, Chris. I'm sorry. They see the advertisement for cancer a ton, right? But in reality, the number 1 cause or illness is heart attack. Heart attack. Wow. I'm going to take a picture of that. Give me 1 second. I don't want to miss that, and I don't have time to write it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Stacy. All right, so heart attack is number 1. Stroke's number 2. Cancer is number 3, and renal failure, which many times is a cause from, which comes from diabetes, is number 4. All right, so these are the main illnesses and what we call those things that can like make your hard-earned money and all the assets you've worked all your life for. It just causes so much issues in your life, and really depletes everything you've worked your whole life for with these illnesses right here. Because you didn't die, right? The person didn't die that it happened to, the bad test, right? Got the bad test, they didn't die, but it definitely caused a damper in their finances. But why is that? It's because we're not properly covered. So what we encourage everyone to do is to get what's called critical illness coverage. Critical illness covers you for the big four, and sometimes some things outside of that, depending on what company you're working with, right? So how does critical illness work? Most times, the way that we look at the policies, we say, okay, we're going to get a policy, and it's normally a lump sum benefit. Let's say this person has because I don't like to put nothing on nobody, right? So this person has a bad test, and that test came out, and they say, you know what, you have one of the big four, right? We'll put them up there. One of these tests came back, and God forbid, they were having to take off work. And what normally happens if a person is diagnosed with one of these illnesses? What normally happens? Who has to take care of them?
Family members.
A family member, a spouse.
Family.
Right. So if you're off, right, and then you're off, let's say you're off work, and then your spouse has to take off work too, there's only so much FMLA, or there's only so much PTO or sick time, right? So then it starts to affect not only your income, but your spouse's income or the family member's income if they're not off work, right? So we have to think about the effects of a bad test that comes through. And wouldn't it be just wonderful if you had a lump sum benefit of, let's call it $50,000 that would come if you had a bad test? Wow. You see, someone said it very simply, it fills in the gaps, right? I like to call it the coverage that helps your life to continue without you having to be financially stressed, as well as waiting for God to heal your body, right? Because sometimes we can make ourselves sicker with the way our mental is set up, right? So we're stressed and we're like, oh, we're worried about finances, we're worried about this, but now we can at least have the financial stress gone and waved away because we have this benefit that comes into place that covers us. And then guess what? Now we can work on the prayers for the healing of our body and not be stressed, right? It's a big difference in having the proper coverages. So critical illness is a coverage that gives a lump sum benefit. Depending on the company you're with, and many of the ones that we work with, they give you the lump sum benefit in different categories. So let's say you had a $50,000 policy, it would cover you under heart attack, but heart attack and stroke are in two different categories. So you would get 50,000 for heart attack, 50,000 for stroke, and then get another different category for cancer. That's a wonderful kind of product. Every product works differently, but the important part of what we're sharing is make sure you have the proper coverage in place. Check with your jobs to see if they have a critical illness coverage instead of just a cancer policy. Many of them do, right? So making sure that we can get these policies, the coverages to cover you in case we get that bad test. That's the goal, okay? Just in case. All right, and then we have the love product. So we talked about a lot. We talked about disability. I'm giving you examples on that. We've talked about critical illness, covering you for the big four, major four illnesses that can really be detrimental to your finances. And then let's talk about the love product. Anybody know what the love product is? Well, I gotta say it like that, the love product. What is the love product? Anybody know? Give me the love product. Who got it? Life insurance. The Harris's got it. Thank you so much. You're right. The love product is life insurance. Many times, right? Many times, when you're talking about, let me be clear. Sometimes people say, well, Candace, why are you always smiling and laughing while you do stuff? Because really, this stuff is not really fun to talk about. So I like to make sure that we make it live a little bit. That's all. All right, keep going. Here we go. The love product is a product that is related to insurance. It's life insurance, okay? Life insurance covers you, and we call it the love product because you only buy life insurance if you love somebody. You're not buying it for yourself. Ooh, I'm gonna say that again. Did you hear me? I said you only buy life insurance if you love somebody. So if you don't love nobody, don't get you none. But that was it. That's all I got to say about that. No, I'm just playing. All right, let's talk about it. So life insurance, or the love product, is the purpose of it, of course, is to get it for those you love. But the goal of life insurance, if you're young and in your youth, your goal is to get the life insurance just in case you did not have the opportunity to build the assets you plan to build. So it's going to self-complete what you plan to do. Now I'm going to say this again. I'm saying it on the front end because I'm going to say it on the back end one more time, or maybe 3 more times, right? 3 more times. All right. Life insurance is there to protect you for 2 reasons. You could do asset protection, which if you're of age and you're mature in age, you say, you know what, I'm getting it to make sure that I can protect them from taxes and things like that, so they don't have to pool my assets, or for burial purposes because I didn't plan early like I wanted to, and that's okay. Or the second way of protection is it's protecting you in case you did not make it to the age to build the assets you plan to build. So now it self-completes what you plan to do. Now, let me break this down for you. Here we go. How should you plan, and how much life insurance do you need? All right, let's do an analysis. This analysis shows you a breakdown of how you can go through your life insurance products amounts so that you can make sure you're not underinsured. That's a whole thing. All right. So the question is, would your family need to replace your salary? Now, let me tell you, I know my spouse won't find another me, right? No, he not. I know. But my salary is in that household, so I don't want anything to change as it relates to the household and the way it's ran and the lifestyle we've created together. So I want to make sure that I can cover my spouse for, well, at least 2 years, right? He can be all right for about 2 years with my salary. Let's add that, right? So I put it in there. Let's say 50,000 times 2. That's $100,000 built into my policy. Now, let's be clear. This is just for example purposes. You want to make sure that you have the proper coverage for yourself. So you could fill this out for you. There is a worksheet. Miss Anise says she did the worksheet. This is perfect. The worksheet is in your binder, and if you did not get it, we'll make sure to resend it to you. But yes, it's in there. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. One more time. Okay, I'm looking good. Do you want to pay off any bills that are left behind? That's the question, right? Well, you got the mortgage. Do you want to pay off the mortgage? Credit cards. I'm gonna put a footnote there. I'm coming back to mortgages. Credit cards, student loans. You see that 0 there? We have no intentions on paying off student loans. If you pass away, those student loans pass too. They're gone unless you did a Parent Plus loan and you put your social on something else. But if you're not connected to that loan, we're not paying that off, just so we're clear. Hope you put a footnote on that. Don't do it, okay? Car loans. You got a car, you want to keep it. Let's include that number in there. And other debt, we'll put 20,000. That's a total of 190,000. Now, that is an example. Of course, these will be your numbers. You do whatever you need to do to make sure they fit your lifestyle. I want to go back to the mortgage though. Sometimes you get people in the industries and they sell these things called mortgage life insurance policies. I don't really agree with those policies because if you have yourself a real life insurance policy, you don't need mortgage life because the mortgage life only covers the mortgage company. The money goes to the mortgage company. It won't go to you. In a real life insurance policy, such as this one, just regular life insurance, that policy amount is in a lump sum and it goes to that person that's the beneficiary. in a mortgage life insurance contract, that policy goes directly to the mortgage company and does not go to the individual at all. So it's covering the mortgage company. I mean, they're cool and all. Thank you for the mortgage, but I'm going to make sure my family's protected, because in reality, my husband may or may not want to keep this mortgage, keep this home. Maybe it's too many memories. Maybe it's too large for just that person alone. It could be anything. So who says we need to pay the mortgage off? We may need to take that money and get a new mortgage, and maybe that's what they desire. You just want to build options, but when you buy a mortgage life insurance contract, then guess what? That puts it into perspective of only paying off that mortgage. I hope that was helpful. Okay, let's keep going. Whew, I know I'm giving y'all a lot of stuff tonight. Oh yeah, so excited. All right, number 3, section 3. So that was section 2. Section 3 says, do you want to pay for your kids' college education? So if something happens to you prematurely, now, yeah, you plan to do it, but if something happens to you prematurely, you have 2 babies, twins for Candace, and $100,000 a piece. Well, Lord knows the numbers keep going up, but we just hope that's enough. $200,000 for college planning. Got it. All right, wonderful. Number 4. Do you want to leave some money left behind for funeral expenses? Well, we know the numbers keep going up, but 7,000 to 10,000 should be good enough to bury somebody. We'll put 10. Desired funeral costs $10,000. If you can't do it with 10, don't do it. It'll be okay, right? I'm just kidding. 10,000 is good. It's a good number. And then the total amount needed for life insurance. So what you're going to do, you're going to add up all these numbers here. From there, you add the 500,000, and then it says, how much do you have in existing life insurance on a group policy? You may have a group policy. You would reduce that from the total amount. It says, how much do you have in savings? Let's say 0 for this example. And then the additional amount of life insurance needed is 400,000, because that 500 minus 100 is $400,000. That is a needed amount for life insurance. That tells you how much you need. Okay. Now, some of you are like, Candace, now I know, you talking good tonight, but I just don't know if I could do 400,000. I understand. Well, that is based upon your situation. This is based upon specifically your situation and what assets you have. And that savings number could be different amounts that's in your investment accounts, different things like that. So we want to incorporate many, many things in this, but the goal, especially if you're young, is to get the coverage while you're young, because you're as young and likely as healthy as you're going to be. Now, you'll probably get more healthy. We all can, but you get my point. Okay. So somebody said the HR department at my job didn't explain it to me like this. They just gave me the option for 25,000. Yeah. We should work on getting some contracts in those kind of companies. But anyway, let's talk about a little bit more. Here we go. Everybody okay? Y'all okay? Just put okay in the chat. I done said a whole lot of stuff. Want to make sure we're okay, because I got about 5 minutes before I give you a break. Maybe 10. Do you need? Okay. All right. Good, Miss Ann, Miss Renata. Okay. All right. Good. We okay. We still breathing. All right. Good. Okay. What type of life insurance do you need? Ooh, this is good. Some people say, okay, I need some whole life. I need some universal life. I'm just going to give you 2 examples tonight, because it kind of covers a whole base of things. Okay. So I'm going to do the example of whole life versus term life. I get this a whole lot. This is based around education, based around your situation. And I want to be very clear. Neither one is bad or neither one is bad. It really just depends on your situation. Okay. Whole life builds cash value. It stays the same over time, and it's more expensive, right? It's more expensive. It's more expensive than term life. Okay. So many people like the concept of whole life, because what happens is when they have that whole life, they feel secure with it not changing. That's how they feel. And some people sell the dream of, we can build your own bank and all that stuff inside of these kind of policies, which is halfway true, but it has to be built properly and overfunded many times. But that's neither here nor there. Just know that it is an option. It just depends on your situation and your affordability of this option. Term life does not build cash value. We like to look at your term life policy very much like your auto insurance policy. You don't invest in your auto insurance policy, do you? No, you get it just in case someone runs you over and you have coverage, or you run someone else over. You buy the coverage just in case. So your term life has no cash value. You're buying it just in case for a specific amount of time, 20, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and it's normally very less expensive than the whole life policy. Okay, so just wanting to be very clear on this. Now let's kind of get into an example of what this looks like. You are 31 years old. You're a female, and this is an actual real example. So a female at 400,000. Remember, the example said we needed $400,000 to cover us. Okay, so that 400,000 in whole life coverage cost $341 a month. Well, from this perspective, I like to always show people what it looks like on an insurance policy when they say it builds in cash value. Well, let's be clear. $341. I want you to go to age, so that's 31. I want you to go to age 70, which is highlighted here. See the highlight? And then you see the premium contract. That means that's the yearly amount is $4,094. The cash value that's guaranteed. You see this guarantee? The only guarantee is $184,000. Now, somebody do me a calculator. Do me a calculator. And let's show you what these numbers really look like. If you do $4,094 times 12, that's 12 months. Got it? That's 40. I'm sorry, I lied. That's not right. $4,094 times 70, because times 39. 39 because we'll be 70 years old. Let me get it together. 4094 times 39. Anybody got an answer? After I get it right. $159,058. Okay, close to 159. So let's be clear. The cash value is 184,000. So it's basically 160 minus 184,000. What is the actual cash value? How much did it really grow? So if we do simple numbers, it grew about $20,000, 24, give or take. Over a 39-year period. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. Let's call it 20,000, but actually be nice. Call it 25,000. That's the guarantee that over 39 years, your money only grows about $24,334 to be specific, but let's call it $25,000 to be exact. That's the guarantee. Now, it gives you some non-guarantee numbers, but I don't want to use the non-guarantee because most people go with whole life because they say that's guaranteed. Okay, good. I'm not saying this is a bad policy. What I'm saying is I need you to understand what's happening whenever someone comes to you and wants to sell you something. Okay, let's keep going. All right, this is good. This is good. Everybody following that we got a $25,000 positive on our nice whole life policy that we spending $341 on every month. Good. Now, how much did you spend? We got it. 4,000 a year. Oh, I already wrote it down for y'all. I made y'all do work for no reason. Look at that. 159,666. That's the actual answer. Now, let's look at the example for a nice young 31-year-old, same 31-year-old, same things going on, 400,000 with a 30-year term life policy, cost her $23.84 a month. Well, this is good. Do I have to show you the difference? Well, let me show it to you. That's a huge difference because I was going to spend $341 a month, but instead I'm going to spend $23.84 a month. That's a $317 what I call cash flow, because I didn't spend it, I kept it, and I could use that money to invest it or pay off debt, right? Are y'all following me? You see the difference between the two? Now, let me show you what it really looks like for this 31-year-old to take her money that she was going to put into that whole life policy or universal life policy and invest it on her own. So she took the $300, invested at 10% for that same 39 years. Do y'all know that that is $1.7 million versus the $184,000 in guarantee? But in reality, the only increase on the amount was $25,000 that we were guaranteed. Ooh, I'm gonna say it one more time. Do you know that that is $1.7 million versus $184,000?
That's a lot.
A whole lot. And somebody would say, well, Candace, where can we find 10%? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Well, we got a lot of different things to talk about. We just got to be sure that you're ready and you stick to the next call. Okay. All right. So let's do a recap real quick. Okay. I know I moved you real fast. Okay. Does this make sense? I'm not saying that it's bad to buy whole life. Candace did not say that. Because if you have certain health challenges, if you have, if you're more mature in age, different circumstances call for you to buy whole life because that is the best option. I'm not saying it's bad, but what I am saying is that you want to make sure you consult with someone who is going to give you an educated conversation on what's best for you so that you know the options that you have and not just trying to peddle you a product. You want to make sure you buy what's best. Okay. Someone just asked a great question. If you're over 70 and plan on living long and the term insurance is 10 years, should you get a whole life to continue to have coverage? That's a good question. I would look at your situation a little closer, Ms. Juanita. Not a bad idea, but let me tell you what I'm going to share with you. If you get a 10-year term and you plan on living a long life, 10 years not long enough, number one, especially if you plan on living longer. Our technology's better, people are living longer, they're healthier, all of those things, right? So from that perspective, I would want to get something a little more permanent because at the 10 years, you're going to have to get another policy. And we don't know what'll happen between that time and now. So I would encourage, if you were my client, I'd say, hey, Miss Juanita, I'd probably encourage that person to look into something a little more permanent because of their age. And let's work on investing some stuff and making sure that you have the assets you desire, but something more permanent in place. That's just me. Okay. I'm going to keep going here. So let's do a recap real quick and we'll take a break. Make sure we have the proper coverages. Is your goose covered with your income protection? Okay. With short-term and long-term disability, and also ensuring that your contingency fund is in place. If you have a contingency fund, you actually don't even need short-term disability. Let's be clear, because that short-term time frame, which is less than 3 months, would actually cover you with your major emergency fund for that 3 to 6 months of expenses. Guess what? That's short-term coverage. You created it on your own. You don't have to pay for that. Oh, that's a jewel. I just gave it to you. Yes. Long-term disability, I would definitely encourage. The second thing, critical illness. Make sure you're covering yourself for the big four: heart attack, stroke, cancer, renal failure. Very important coverage. And then the love product, the love product covers you, and really it's not even you, it's your family. If you love someone, you definitely want to connect with them, you definitely want to connect so that you can cover yourself for those people you love. Last thing, give me 2 minutes, and I'm actually gonna call Deacon Thomas in to kind of speak on this as well. If you are I'd say 50 and 50 and older, you are wanting to consider what's called long-term care. Long-term care gives you a variety of services and that not for you to just go into a facility or anything like that. It gives you the opportunity for people to take care of you and you protect your assets. Let's talk about what that means. You've worked your whole life to build up your assets, right? And once you have them built, let's say something happens, and Deacon Thomas actually talks about the dignity that you have when your children don't have to take care of you or don't have to take you a bath or don't have to do those processes, right? You keep your dignity in that, and you can have someone come into your home to take care of you or pay for you to go to a nice facility, and it does not have to mess up or deplete the assets that you currently have. That's what long-term care is. We call it your dignity product, and that product that helps you to protect your assets as you age, because you built your assets and taking care of yourself. Okay. Very, very important. So we encourage you to get it at 50 and up. And we also make sure that is paid up in 10 years so that the insurance companies can't come back and change anything on you. So make sure you take a note of that. Deacon Thomas, you wanna chime in on this conversation, make sure that we're covered pretty good here, and then we'll take a break.
Hey, Candace, great job tonight on the insurance. Look, you did a great job. Yeah, on the long-term care, we try to tell people they spend the early years building their assets, things of that nature, 401ks, retirement plans. And the only thing that can wipe those assets out is a long-term illness or some unplanned lawsuit where you just can't take, you got to hire lawyers and all that kind of stuff. So what happens is that we want you to take part of those assets and set the money aside on an annual basis for the long-term care, and do that for about 10 years with a good company. And then that 10 years, the contract's paid up. Because guys, I got to tell you, you don't want to be the person that disrupts your children's lives or your grandchildren's lives because you didn't take enough time to look at this particular product to protect yourself. Get it early, 50, 55, no later than about 70, and lock the costs in for the next 10 years, then it's paid for. And it's just a great dignity product. Good job, Candace.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
We had some, I think we have a couple of questions here in the chat.
Okay.
Dr. Stacy gave a good tip and said, if you have to get an insurance exam, say you get an insurance and they want you to do an exam, don't do it late in the afternoon, do it early in the morning, and make sure you drink a lot of water, at least an hour, a bottle of water at least an hour before the exam. Don't push them into letting you do it in the afternoon because it can cause for you to have different kind of readings and stuff. Which was good advice. But I would also add to that some companies, depending on who you're working with, we know companies that don't require exams up to a certain limit on the coverage that you're getting. So you just want to make sure you're working with someone that gives you options. Ms. Catherine said, what companies offer critical illness insurance? You want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, there are a ton of companies out there that offer critical illness, of course. You want to make sure you get the company that's been well established, because some companies, they offer it, they're in the market, they're out of the market, and every 3 or 4 years, they'll raise the rates on you. I would definitely say get with your insurance person or Candace or myself, and we can identify the company that fits your particular need. Also, what Dr. Stacy said, if you are scheduled for an insurance exam, try to do something I call a little fasting the day before. Don't eat any fat foods like hamburgers and that stuff. It'll show up in your blood, on your cholesterol levels, raise all that kind of stuff up. So she was exactly right. Make sure you have just a good, clean diet the day before. It's almost like going on a detox the day before, so your blood levels look a lot better. Also on insurance, you guys need to know, when you're doing an insurance application, make sure you tell the truth. These insurance companies have something they call prescription checks. On those prescription checks, they can look at a certain prescription that you're getting, and they can pretty much tell what's going on with you. So if something's going on, don't tell a story to the insurance company, because that underwriter, all he has to look at is what's in that application. Okay, so you got to paint a good picture. When you're honest in there, all they're going to do is come back and offer you maybe a different kind of rate. It may not be the excessive rate, but they will cover you most times. So don't think you can tell the underwriter something's not true and they won't find out. Okay, just don't fall for that.
Good deal. Awesome. Let's take a break.
Good deal.
Let's take a break. We have 5 minutes. If that, let's take 5, you all. And thank you for timing in there, Deacon Thomas. That's really good. We got a lot of good stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff to cover. And I got a lot more. So let's do it. Take a break. Let's take 5.
Hey, Miss Candace.
Do before we Thank you. The things we should do before we invest. So let's talk about that that topic, and then we'll be able to ask questions at the end, and we'll close out for tonight. So the concept behind what we're discussing is that we're not wanting to create a put and take account. What does that mean? Well, if we don't have the proper insurances in place, if we don't actually do these steps that we're actually talking about, what happens to your investment accounts is they become what's called a put and take account. You put it in, and then something happens and you take it out. Or you put it in and then something drastic happens. Oh, the tire went out because we didn't have a contingency fund. Oh, the tire went out and I just put that money in the investment account. Oh man, I need it out. Then you take it out, right? So we don't want to create what's called a put and take account. So that's why we're going over these things, to make sure that you have the proper foundation as you prepare yourself to begin investing and doing the things that we're going to talk about, especially next week. So let's continue your foundation, and then we'll open up for questions at the end. So savings versus investing. This is one of my favorite topics, because sometimes when we allude to the difference between the two, sometimes we use the words interchangeably, right? Oh, I'm getting ready to save, or I'm saving. Well, saving and investing are two different things. Saving is when you're saving for a specific amount of time, for a specific purpose. And I like to tell people it is normally 5 years or less is what you're saving for. So when you look at it, when we talked about that savings account earlier, right, you're saving for something very specific. Oh, you're saving to go on a trip, or you're saving for whatever it is, right? You're saving for something very specific. But when you're investing, you're putting your money in a place so that it could grow. You're going to put it there normally for 5 years or longer. Your rate of return, and this is something that Deacon Thomas taught me a long time ago. He said, Candace, if you keep that money in there for 10 years or longer, you're about 95% opportunity for a positive rate of return. If you keep that money in there, Candace, 15 years or longer, he said, you're almost guaranteed a positive rate of return. So what does that say? That means if I'm investing, and we're talking about retirement investing and things like that, for the long haul, if the longer I keep my money in it, the better my rate of return possibilities there are going to be. So putting the money in and taking it out is not what we're wanting to create, not in this type of environment, what we're doing right now and what we're teaching on. There's different ways of investing and different things you do, but in this perspective, we're just talking about the general long-term investing of saving versus investing. Okay, so let's keep going. I like to use the concept that explains how saving is literally just delayed spending, right? So when we say it's for a specific amount of time, it's for a specific purpose, you plan to spend the money, it's just delayed spending. All right, so write that down in your notes. Okay, saving is just delayed spending. All right, so from that perspective, we have to kind of get that in our notes, got that. And then we look at investing and we say, okay, well, the difference, investing is when your money is expecting a return. You're putting your money in there for it to grow. You're expecting for it to grow and not to necessarily just be putting in for a specific amount of time or for a specific purpose. Of course, the purpose is for it to grow, but you're not saving for something very specific. The goal is growth, right? Growth is the goal. Okay, so how do you know if the money's growing? That's the question. Ooh, well, I won't even ask you to answer. Let me just go ahead and tell you. This is how you know. Based upon your rate of return is how you know if the money's growing or not. So many times, if you invest $1,000 at 10% interest, that means you've earned $100. That's how you know the money's growing. You got more than you started with. Easy as put. But let's use a formula. And I've mentioned this formula before, and I mentioned it in the class where we talked about what a mess, right? So tonight, I'm just going to kind of breeze through it again because I know you've already heard it, but it's good to hear it over and over again. Let's talk about the banker's secret. The banker's secret says, and this actually was called it's actually called the Rule of 72. We coined it as the banker's secret, and actually it was coined by a very smart gentleman named Albert Einstein. So the banker's secret says that if you use the Rule of 72 and you say, I take 72 divided by my interest rate, then it'll tell us how many years it takes my money to double. I'll say that again. Take a picture, write it down, take your notes. Let's do it again. Take 72 divided by the interest rate, and it tells how many years for your money to double. That's what it'll equal. How many years your money double. So we're going to put this in perspective and we'll make sure we got it together. All right. So what is your interest rate as your bank? I'm just curious. Anybody want to share? Please do. What is your interest rate at the bank? Now, I'm not beating up the banks, Marcus, but we know that they are pretty low. So we're going to give the banks a hard time for a few minutes. And we're going to be able to figure out why they're, Dr. Stacy says she's embarrassed to say, why their interest rates are so low, but their rates on those credit cards are so high and their banks are so big. This is why. What is your interest rate at your bank? Don't nobody want to talk to me. Anybody know? Or do you know your interest rate at the bank? Yeah. Ooh. 0.01. 0.05. Okay, Miss Anise getting 10%. I don't know where you're getting that from, Miss Anise. You need to tell everybody where you bank it. All right. Jen said, I don't know. 17%. Where is you getting 17% from? And 10% at the bank? Oh, y'all winning on your savings account at your bank. Okay. 2%. That's pretty good, Shayla. Okay. Oh, I need to know where Miss Giselle is banking at and where Miss Anise banking at. They got 17%. I'm just trying to figure it out. Help me, help me. 0.65. Okay. Well, good. We need to know about this 17. I'm with you, Shayla. You hear me? She need to share. She can share. It's okay. This is an open platform. Type it for everybody. All right, let's keep going. So from this perspective, all right, I want to give you an example. Actually, I used to have a PowerPoint, actually still do. I need to add it back to my slides that shows an actual real account with these numbers. Kate has $10,000 in her local bank in a savings account at her local bank. Let's answer this question. Everybody, I'm trying to click it. With a rate of return, interest rate of 2%, how many years will it take her money to double? How many years will it take her money to double? Kate has $10,000 in her savings account. She gets 2% on the interest rate. She got too much money in her mini emergency. You right. How many years will it take her money to double? Anybody? Oh, how did you get 36, Miss Ann? Did you take 72? Somebody said 30 years. What's the real math? Miss Ann, what
72 divided by the 2%.
Equals 36 years. You're absolutely right.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Miss Ann, since you're talking to me, I'm gonna go ahead and talk back to you. Now, Miss Ann, you get to see why we say that you don't need more than $3,000 in a savings account because you're not making any money. Okay. Because if it's gonna take 36 years for that money to double, we are losing. Did I say that earlier? Oh man, we're losing. My goodness, Miss Ann. Well,
oh my God.
Oh my God. Love it. Okay. So from this perspective, right, she took 72 divided by the 2% and she got 36 years. That's how long it's going to take that $10,000 to double, a lifetime. So what I want to do is I want to use an example of what money looks like just in different levels, right? Let's take a look at it and then really kind of dissect this thing real quickly here. So let's say you have 4%. Can someone tell me how many years the money doubles at 4%?
Would it be
Uh-huh.
72?
Come on, do the
18.
math.
18 years.
Okay. 72. How'd you get the numbers? Divided by 4. I'm really gonna make sure we get it. We gotta see it again, because every time you see when somebody say, oh, this your rate of return, you should remember, oh, if I take 72 and divide it by 4, it'll tell me how long that money's gonna double, and it'll tell me if it's doing good or not. Oh, look at this. 18 years for 4%. Wow. Well, let's take a look. If you had $10,000 at the age of 30, that means that money doubles to $20,000 at the age of 48, and age 66, you got $40,000. Is that enough money to retire off of?
No.
With these gas prices and stuff going on right now, I think we in trouble, right? Really in general, okay? So that's not enough. Let's keep going. So what does the interest rate need to be in order to get that 40,000 to double to 80,000? Anybody want to share?
At least,
Would it be like
at least 8.
8,
8%?
8%.
I got an 8 going. Anybody else? 8 going. All right, let's see. Y'all said 8. Well, technically, let me show you how this works. All right. So you want to take the simple interest versus the compound interest. And let me tell you how this works. Okay. So simple interest says, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Don't write this down. Don't take a picture. I'm just playing. Okay. I'm just. Somebody, Miss Ann looked at me like, Candace, you are playing too much, right? I know, Miss Ann, you finna write that down, girl. Don't do me like that. Okay, here we go. Let me explain. Some of you said 8%. Dr. Stacy said 7.5%. Let me explain the reason it's not 8%. You're close. You got a concept, but let's talk about it. Simple interest versus compound interest. This is really good. Simple interest is calculated with the principal or the original amount only, which is why you all got 8, because you're thinking, oh, it should just double, and that means you double the interest rate. That's good, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing compound interest because that's how money grows. See, simple interest says if I started with 1,000 and it grew to 200, I'm only going to still use that $1,000, not the actual 200 that it grew to as well. Now, compound interest says I'm going to use that 1,000 and that $200. So now we're going to compound on the $1,200 that it grew to as well. See, compound interest is calculated with the principal and the original amount as well as the growth, the principal or the original amount and the interest or growth. Okay, so we do compound interest when it comes to your money. Got it? Got it in the chat. I need you to make sure you got it. And make sure you go to bankrate.com for your calculators, because I don't want y'all doing this math on your own, especially if you're using simple interest. We got to be sure we got it. Okay. Got it. Everybody got it? Got it. Good. Thank you. Perfect. Let's keep going. So what we're doing, I did add the example in there. Oh, you got it. Cool. Gave the example. Oh, man, I'm real good in my PowerPoint. Look at this. All right. Just in case you missed it, because I only got like 3 people that told me they got it. Simple interest is on the left. It says $1,000 invested, $200 in growth, but only the $1,000 is used to calculate. On compound interest, $1,000 invested, $200 in growth, the entire $1,200 is used to calculate the interest. Do I got some more guidance now? Yeah, I think I do. All right, great. Let's keep going. Now, let's get back to that number we talked about. Y'all thought I left it alone. Nope, I'm going back. All right, 6% is what we need in order for that number to double. Let me show it to you. 6%, 72 divided by 6 means that money doubles every 12 years, which is good. So from there, 10,000 at 42, you got 20. At 54 years old, because this is every 6 years, you got 40. And at 66, you got 80,000. Anybody? I think you will take it, but is that enough to retire off of? No, don't think so. Okay, just want to make sure I wasn't by myself. Okay, now let's talk Uh-oh, somebody watching TV while we're talking. That's cool. We can watch TV too. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Is that enough for retirement? We got no. All right, so let's talk about 12%. Anybody want to do those numbers? Anybody? How many years gonna take that money to go to double? How many years? I'm making you do the math this tonight. Yes, I got the answer and I'm gonna click it and it's gonna pop up, but I want us to make sure we got it. Yes. 72 divided by 12 is 6. You got it. You got it. Thank you, Miss Ann.
Should be
Thank you, Nell. Thank you, Brian.
120,000.
Perfect. Perfect. So let's take a look, okay? From the perspective of the banks, because many times are the banks getting 12, 15, or 26% on our money? I need you to think about that. What's the interest rate on your credit cards? How much, how many fees do they charge you if you overdraft, right? $1 over can cost you $36, right? So we have to think about these things. Now, not to beat up the banks, but it's just the truth. We have to be able to know the system we're living in and know how to make sure we're using it to our advantage. Take care of yourself. Well, if the banks and insurance companies are giving us 4 and 6%, we know for a fact that they're getting 12% or higher. But this is the kind of stuff we want you to learn so that you can be able to do this for yourself. So in our next class, Deacon Thomas is going to actually show us, wow, how to get 12% or higher. But let me show you what it looks like in your numbers. Here we go. That is every 6 years, you got it right. Age 30, you had 10,000. Went up to 40,000. And let's be clear, the bank had the money. The banks had the money at 42 years, at age 42, but they gave it to you at 66 over here at 4%. Okay, let's keep going. At 48, they had the 80,000, but over here they were giving it 6, but so they waited to give it to you at 66 while they kept making money. You see that? Ooh, don't get mad at the banks. Just make sure you understand the process. 54, that's 160,000. Age 60, that's 320,000. And at age 66, that's 640,000. Now, if this was us, which it will be, can be, definitely. Is that enough to retire off of? I think I can manage. You think you can manage that? Yeah, I think I'll be all right. So we look at this concept, right? And I want you to consider the difference between the 4% and the 12%. There's a $600,000 difference. But what is the real difference, you all? The real difference is knowledge. The real difference is showing up to class, learning more, again, knowledge. But you know, the real difference is applying what we're learning, because learning it is only one thing, but applying it to your life is totally different. That's the difference. There's a $600,000 difference from being in retirement and feeling check to check, and in retirement and feeling comfortable. There's a difference in knowing and not knowing. There's a difference. Do you all agree that there's a difference? There's a $600 difference in knowing this information and not. And many times we think where our lack of knowledge, there's no problem. What you don't know won't hurt you. It's one of the worst things they could have ever quoted and said, because what you don't know can cost you a ton of money, because in reality, this difference costs a ton of money when we have no idea that it's even available to us, and we're allowing for people to steal our wealth. And let me even be more clear, because sometimes we can't blame it on other people. We can blame it on ourselves when we're allowing ourselves to eat out continuously. When we said, check your finances and stop eating out so much. When we said, take $100 and invest it over the next year so that you can do something better for yourself. When we say $3.33 a day, it can change your life. That's $100 a month, and we do nothing, and we still don't do anything. You see, we can't always blame it on other people. Sometimes we got to take a look in the mirror and blame ourselves. We got to look at this concept that when we're allowing the banks to make the decisions for ourselves and we're leaving the money in the banks, we have more than $3,000 in the savings account. We're not doing the steps. We're not taking advantage. I know I'm hard on y'all tonight, but I just really need you to understand that that's a $600,000 decision, not just the feel good moment of I wanted to go out to eat today. Or I feel sad, let's spend money. That's not it. It's the difference between generational wealth and generational curses. It's the difference of leaving our families to start at zero and us actually having something to pass down. There's a difference. 600,000 to be specific. You can loan your money out to the banks, and actually you put about $1,000 in there. You know they can loan your money out 10 times. Because everybody's not going to the banks at the same time. Oh, I know I shifted that real fast. If you put your money in the bank, which is great, right? You have to understand how the bank systems work because they can loan your money out 10 times that money that's sitting there. So we should be making sure that we use our money to our advantage. That's why we're telling you don't put all that money in there. It's not necessary. We want to make sure we're using the systems that we have. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let me make sure that I have everybody muted because I'm having some feedback. Give me a second. All right. Perfect. Oh, I said it earlier. What you don't know can hurt you and cost you a whole lot of money. All right. So last thing for tonight. I know I've given you a lot. I've said a whole lot. But I got to be able to give you this last piece, okay? Last piece, because it's super important for our class next week. How you invest, and this comes from Deacon Thomas. He'd probably be like, Candace, why'd you put my picture on this thing? Sorry, I got him. How you invest is just as important as your rate of return. Oh, this is good. How you invest is just as important as your rate of return. So let's talk about it. Tonight, we're going to talk about, and this is in your binder as well, but I'm going to go over the worksheet that's in there because it's probably a little confusing when you look at it. So I'm just going to go over it in detail tonight, make sure you got it, and then we'll go from there and we'll be done. Dollar cost averaging talks about the difference between your monthly investment versus a lump sum investment all at one time. The concept is that if we put the money in there in intervals, that you get a higher rate of return because you're constantly buying new shares every single month. That's what I'm going to show you just now with this example. Now, $3.33 a day is how much money every month? That's a question. $3.33 a day is how much money every month on average?
$99.90.
$100. We got it. You got
Yeah,
it.
or round it off then.
Yes, ma'am. No, you got it. I just want to make sure we got it. Even if you invested $9.99 a month, it's $100.
No, $99.90 a month.
Yes, ma'am. $100 a month. So from that perspective, I just need to make sure y'all got it because that's the example I'm getting ready to give you. And that's the example that Deacon Thomas gives all the time, right? $3.33 a day, $100 a month. The concept, what I'm getting ready to show you is that $100 monthly invested over 12 months is going to share with you the difference between these numbers. Let's show it to you. So in January, 10 shares, you see that across the board here, is invested. They bought 10 shares because each share was $10 per share. Fund price $10, amount invested 100. That means they bought 10 shares. In January, the fund price went down. So that means they bought same $100, but they bought more shares, $10.73 of shares, 10 shares, 10.73. Oh, look in March, went down a little more. Same $100 bought 12.48 shares. Oh, look in April, went down a little bit more. Same $100 bought 12.55 shares because the share price went down to $7.97. All right, you see this happening all the way down. Now look, in October, share price went back to $9. They bought 10.91 shares. Same $100 in all the months. November, and then December, same $100, finally went back up to 10.13, which was the highest it's been since the entire time. They bought 9.87 shares, but I want you to take a look at what happens to the money. That's a rate of return of 15.77%. Now let's look at if you wanted to take that same $1,200, because you say, you know what? I'm not listening to them people in class. I don't want to do this every month. I'm just going to go ahead and do what I want to do. I'm going to put it all in there one time. It's burning my pockets. Okay, let's show you burning pockets. All right. $1,200 lump sum. You put it in there the first month. It was at $10 a share. You bought you spent $1,200. That's the amount invested. That's 120 shares purchased, and your account value shows $1,200. The same $100, and you took it all at one time. And we said, okay, we invest $0 every month after that. Look at this, look at this, look at this. $0, $0, $0, $0, $0, $0. Okay, you get the point, right, Candace? I get the point. I got you. Well, guess what? That one-time lump sum investment of $1,200 lends you a 1.3% rate of return. Well, Candace, what happened? It's the same account, it's the same funds, it's the same $1,200. It's invested differently. That's the difference. Let me explain. Whenever the fund price went down in these months that were coming, guess what? You didn't buy more shares. So what happens is that the value of your account dropped when the fund price went down. You weren't doing anything to help it. Went up a little bit right here, the 1014, the 1076. But guess what? It's still not recouping itself to this original account value at 1,200. It finally recoups itself at the very end, and you got 1216 in the account value, which makes the rate of return at 1.3%. That's huge. That's a huge difference, because of the way you invest is just as important as your rate of return, how you invest your money. So what we're encouraging is dollar cost averaging. Why? Now, ladies, now I know the guys like to shop too, but ladies, let me talk to you. When you go to the store, and I don't know about you, but when I go to the store, I like to look at the clearance rack first. Me and Clarence has a relationship, okay? Because I like to buy my clothes on sale. That meant they've been here a little too long. They feel like it's out of style. It's in style for me. So I'm going to the clearance rack, right? Me and Clarence got a relationship. Guess what? Y'all agree. Okay. Guys, y'all agree too, because you're smart. You like to shop smart. Well, guess what? I bought that shirt on sale. I like the sale. Well, when you dollar cost average, because the market is going up and down, guess what's happening? When the market goes down and you spend that same $100, you were buying shares on sale and you were getting more bang for your buck. Because look over here on the other side, right? When the share price went down to $7, I want you to look at that in April. The share price went down to $7. You were able to purchase 12.55 shares. That's more shares than when you first started, because the shares were on sale when the market went down. I'm teaching. I hope y'all getting this. The shares went down. Oh, man. When them shares went down, boy, that thing went on sale and I got to get more bang for my buck. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? You got to look at it like you're shopping on sale. So when you're buying every month, you're buying when the shares go up and they go down, but you're constantly buying. When you buy one time, you just bought it, you got that one time pick, and that was it. That ain't no fun. Like they said, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. All right, so we want to. That's good. Okay. All right, so 15.77% versus 1.3%. That's huge. So if we use the rule of 72, and we say 72, now I'm gonna pull it all together. You get me? Come on with me now. Come on. Rule 72 say you take 72, you divide it by that 15.77. Ooh, we my money double every 4.5 years. I like that. Y'all like that? Oh, but if you don't listen in class and you go do what you want to do, I know you like kids, don't start. I'm just telling you the truth. Somebody gonna do this anyway. I'm just gonna say it just because we should have said it. Okay. You take 72 and you divide it by your 1.3 because you decided not to listen in class. I get it. Your money double every 55 years, but guess what? It's that same $100, that same the same $3.33 a day. Same money, different numbers, because how you invest, as Deacon Thomas said, is just as important as your rate of return. Do y'all get this? Oh, I hope you get it. Let me give you one more. Somebody want to talk to me, but I need to be able to finish this real quick. Give me a second. Let me get you on mute. Okay, there we go. Okay, one more example, because I need you to be able to see it. So there was this scenario, because some people like charts and stuff, right? Want to give you a chart. So this chart says compound interest, one-time investment of $10,000. I want you to take a look at it up here. At the top, the one-time investment is the top on the left. Okay, that one-time investment at $10,000 puts that money at $452,000. But if we take that same $100 over the same time frame, which is 40 years, at same 10%, I need you to see the difference because I'm just using a little bit bigger numbers here, but really it's the same. My $100 is more effective. I got more money spending my $100 a month over that same 40 years. Well, actually a little less, but 35 years, but same difference. Same 35 years, 40 years, however you look at it, same time frame. I have $632,000 with my $100 per month versus a $10,000 investment one time that I just let sit. Well, does this make sense? Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. I just want to be clear. Gave another example just to be very clear that the way you invest, I'm just going to say it again, is just as important as your rate of return. Super, super important. Same, different money, actually. $100 a month versus $10,000 at one time. Let me pull this together for you. One more thing. Can I give you one more thing before we get ready to go? Some of you have put into your mind that I don't have enough money to invest. I can't find the money. I don't know. I don't have enough. There's not enough left over. Let me tell you something. You can find it. It's there. Can you find it within yourself to find the $3.33 a day? Can you find it within yourself to leave something not only for yourself for retirement, but for your children's children? Because that's what the word says. A good man leaves an inheritance, and that's man, woman, leaves an inheritance for their children's children, right? Are we thinking in the manner of godliness? Because that's what he told us to do, right? So that $3.33 a day, it's just that $100 a month. You can find it, it's there, and it can really turn into something major if we just start with the small things. Be faithful of the little. Our lack of knowledge costs us a ton of money all the time, right? But it doesn't have to. And that's why we're teaching this class. So we want to definitely enjoy the ride. And that is my time for tonight. So we are going to go to questions. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope that you all have enjoyed this session. I've taught you a whole lot of stuff. I know it's been a lot in a little bit of time, but yeah, let's do it. Questions, comments, observations. I'm hard on you because I love you. And that's what I mean that with all my heart. Because if I don't tell you, then why not? Who gonna tell you? Okay, let's do it. If you got them, questions, comments, that's actually my number. You can text or call me anytime. Need some assistance. Okay. Whew. Y'all quiet. Deacon Thomas, you got something you want to add in there?
Hey, just here to assist in any questions they may have. But great job, man. You blew it out of the park tonight. It's just a great training. A lot of good information, simplified. I just want everybody to understand that $100 we keep talking about, that $3.33. Remember, it paid off a house in 10 years and paid off all the other debt in 10 years. So invest in your debt, invest in your investment plans, and find that money because you are in charge. This whole class over these 6 weeks we've been through has been about you understanding how money works. And it starts, of course, with you personally putting together a spending plan, know where the money's going. Then put together a debt plan to pay the debt off. Put together a savings plan to save the money. And look, you just take total control of your future. So awesome job, Candace, tonight. You did a wonderful job. Hope everybody's excited about the information. And most importantly, everybody just take action. Don't just take the information, be an action taker. Absolutely.
Awesome. Someone asked, what should I put the $100 in? I told them to stay tuned. That's what I think.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We'll actually talk about that next week.
Yeah. Any questions? Any questions?
Awesome sauce.
I have one.
Sure, ma'am.
It's going back to the whole life and insurance stuff.
Uh-huh.
Did you say it's okay if you start out with term, but try to move towards the whole, right? Is that if you can't, if it's too high now for it?
That's a concept. That's a concept. I would say I can't give you like full advice because I don't know your situation. But the younger you are, the more term you should have for the longest period of time possible. If you're just, it just depends on your age. And Deacon Thomas, if you want to chime in, that's perfectly fine. But that's just kind of it's hard for me to really say. Maybe you can help.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it just kind of feels kind of determines where you are financially. Typically, when we tell young people when they get started, they buy all that insurance because they got a lot of debt, and you need insurance when you got a lot of debt to kind of self-complete what you plan to do. As you build up your assets and money and stuff, most time you don't need a lot of insurance. You need money. So as you get older, you don't need that much life insurance. You need more of your money in investments so as to continue to grow. So as you get older, if you got more, 10, 15, $20,000 laying around inside your investments, set it aside for, your funeral expenses, things of that nature, but put it in an investment too. So if you don't have any life insurance, that'd be a second way to go. If you've gotten older and you didn't accumulate a lot of money, then yes, you need some whole life insurance or some blended life insurance, maybe some term and whole life mixed together to keep the cost down. Because you get older, it becomes very, very expensive. So it just kind of depends on where you are and what you're trying to create. So that probably is a one-off for one of us advisors to talk to you about, of course.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Oh, I think it's a good point that Jamil brought up. So feel free to reach out to us in the email. So Money Matters at stmark.info is our email address. So if you have questions or anything that you need personally, you can send it there, and we'll definitely assist you with that. So she just put it in the chat. You want to take a look at that, write that down if you need some assistance.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Any other questions, comments, observations? Y'all good? You got anything? It could be about any portion of the class because we know we should be finishing up our binders, making sure those things are together. Anything else?
Absolutely. And let's tell a little bit about the group insurance when it rolls around if they got health issues.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Actually, so when you get your group coverage, just for clarity there, group coverage is great, especially if you have health insurance, because if you have health conditions that can sometimes be uninsurable. So let's say, for example, you had a really bad test recently. The group policies help you to be put into a pool of people. And their purpose of the group policy is to say, hey, we got this pool of people and we're hoping that we cover enough people. It's cheaper. And these people, of course, everybody kind of puts in on the numbers together. And our goal is for those people not to really get sick as least as possible, right? So they're hoping that they can bet on the group, everybody putting in together, and it's cheaper for everybody. If you're unable to get coverage, that's one of the better ways to go about getting life insurance and different coverages. If you have those bad tests or different tests that's happening, you have some health conditions or things that's going on. So just making sure that you check with your job for sure. The thing with that though, and Deacon Thomas, you can elaborate on it, is that when you have the group coverage, if you're young and don't have those coverages, I always encourage to get it outside of your job as well, because you're as young and as healthy as you're going to be. And that policy helps to cover you, even if you leave that job or you retire, things like that. Because sometimes, and I've seen this, and I know Deacon Thomas has seen this, where people retire and they forget, oh, I need coverage, or, oh, I'm trying to get coverage and now I'm 60 years old, or 50, 55, 60 years old, and it's more expensive, and I never got it when I was young. So you still want to consider that as well if you're in a financial place to be able to handle it. Deacon Thomas, you want to chime in on that?
One thing I gotta say, one of the reasons you want to get on those group contracts because it's guaranteed issue.
Yeah.
That means that you don't have to go through a medical exam. So next time you have an open season of your job, make sure if you need some kind of insurance, go ahead and update it there if you have health issues.
Mm-hmm.
About it.
All right, good stuff.
Right.
So yeah, we're no other questions. We're gonna get ready to pray and get you all out of here. No other questions?
We're good.
All right, either they're wild or they said good job in the chat. So we'll just have questions. So I'll leave them alone. Right?
Absolutely. Great job.
All right. Thanks. We're gonna anyone want to volunteer to pray? We mentioned it earlier. Anyone want to pray us out, or Marcus, Deacon Thomas, anybody?
I got it. No problem.
Sure.
We won't force them. We love to hear them pray though. Everybody bow their heads there. Heavenly Father, we come to you with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you for the fellowship tonight. Thank you for all the information that's been shared. As we come to the end of our time together, Father, we thank you for all that has been accomplished today. Thank you for Candace and her willingness to serve. Father, we discussed a lot of things, Father. We want those things to move us to take action. We want it to advance and grow in all areas of our life, Father. We want to be in a position that we can share with others what we've learned. You're the only one that can help us do that, Father. Give us the faith, Father, and the confidence to share with other people what we've learned. It's just that one person, Father, could be a life-changing thing for them, just learning one thing about finances and money. May we leave, Father, recognizing that you and God, only you can give us the wisdom and the will to lead us forward in our lives. This we pray in the Lord Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Come on, prayer. Good prayer. All right.
Great call tonight, guys. Enjoyed you guys. Great job, Candace.
Good job, Candace.
Good class.
Thanks so much. You all have a great night.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.